Hey y'all, welcome in and welcome back to the channel and welcome to what I hope will be a fun feel-good video. I have my bullet journal here and we are going to be doing something that I hope will be relaxing, something that you could follow along with if you'd like, or if you're like doing dishes or something or getting ready, this is something that you could also listen to. So because a lot of people are celebrating different holidays today, let me say before we get started, if you celebrate Christmas, happy Christmas. If you celebrate Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah. And if you celebrate neither, happy Wednesday. Got my coffee here. We're going to put that. I also have my little bear. I'm going to eat off camera in a little bit. I feel like today, it's just going to be a chill video, relaxing video, and something that I would like to be feel good. So what are we doing? We are going to be doing a little bullet journal spread called 24 Good Things in 2024. I found this from Playing with Elise. She does this every year, and I saw her do hers, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do mine this year, and we're going to do it together. So if you don't have a bullet journal, or you don't like bullet journaling, you could do this on a lined piece of paper, in a blank notebook, on a Notion page. Like, you could do it on a sticky note, you could do an Excel sheet, or just noodle about it while you're watching this video. So I have been brainstorming some things, as you can see. So we are going to get started. I'm actually going to do the title first. I'm going to stamp it out. We're going to do that on camera. I'm going to do all of the mapping out the the page in this space before. So I got these actually yesterday. I've been wanting some stamps for my bullet journal because I hate my writing. And I got these clickable stamps from Michael's, and you can create words with them. And there's like spaces and everything. I've never really stamped before, so we are going to do this live. I don't have... Oh, that got kind of juicy. I feel like I should... You know what? Let's do a test. I have some, pages back here. Okay, we'll do it here. Let's see. We'll try again. It's not getting the bottom of that G for whatever reason. Okay, one more time. We got it. Okay. This is going to be fun. Okay, so we're going to stamp out the title first. Actually, we'll do the numbers. We'll just do maybe like a side thing here, like... No, that's too far. That's too far over. Be like, because these aren't that big. I feel like good here, things. No, good things in 20. So maybe here, like, we want this a little bit big, right? It's like a weird amount of space. You know, we'll do it backwards. We'll stamp the things first. We'll do it. Ugh, okay. Oh, that was crooked. This is what I get when I bullet journal. Okay. Oh, shit. I'm being too aggressive with this. Okay. This is... Oh, on my hands. This is chaos. Well, this is how it's going, apparently. You know what? I was going to restart it, but this is going to be a memory of this video, regardless of how it goes. Okay. Then we'll do like a dot in 24, but we'll get that when it dries. Okay, so we have the basics of the page set out. And so now what we are going to do is we are going to do some squiggly boxes, more like sketchy boxes, I should say, because the first time I tried to do this, I did all of these measured out boxes, like everything with a ruler, and it was heinous. So I'm going to try these kind of more sketchy boxes that are not supposed to be perfect. And like I'm going over them multiple times. So they're going to look intentionally squiggly. So let's talk about this video and the kind of the point of this video. As you can see, we got some squiggly action. Oh shit, oh shit. That was interesting. So in the past, I have watched videos of people who are goal setting. You know, people who are talking about their year, or even just goal setting, talking about their year. And after watching these videos, I would feel like shit about myself because they were hitting these big milestones. They were buying a home or getting married, having a kid, or, you know, like have their dream job or something, like earned extra money, and all of these big kind of life goals that they were accomplishing. Or even if they weren't big life goals, they were just like somebody hitting the goals that they set for themselves. And I would always leave these videos kind of feeling like shit because I'd be comparing my life to theirs. And I wasn't doing these things. And I also like wasn't hitting milestones in my own life. And I felt like to have a good year meant to have hit milestones and have big accomplishments. Last year, I really struggled, like last December, because I was watching these videos and also like I was watching a lot of planner videos and things like that. And I was feeling kind of garbagey about even my attempts at like creating things. And as you can see by this page, which has clearly smeared stamps, ink stains on the page, I have let that go quite a bit. And creating stuff or planning, it doesn't need to look beautiful and able to function. It also doesn't need to like look good at all in order to serve a purpose or have a meaning. I'm getting a little bit off track here. So last December, when I was trying to find good things in my life or even kind of set goals, I was not feeling very good about it. And I felt like I wasn't moving the needle. And if anything, I felt even more behind at the end of the year than at the start of the year. Now, if you have milestones in your life, you should absolutely celebrate them. And I hope you do celebrate them. I'm not here at all to say, don't be proud of your accomplishments or don't celebrate milestones or anything of that nature. I'm mostly coming at it from the perspective of somebody who wasn't doing those things. And I think that the more reasons that you can create to celebrate, the better. One thing that I've realized, kind of at an increasing amount as I get older, is that life is spent in the everyday. And milestones are milestones because they are special and they are not the thing that you do every day, let alone every month or even every year. Like most people, they don't buy a house every year. They buy a house once. Sometimes people move a little bit. But this is not an every month, let alone an every year accomplishment. And also, in a lot of milestones, people work up to them. Like, people save money to buy their house or save money to have a wedding. Somebody just didn't appear one day and just oh yeah, I'm just going to buy a house. And so how we spend the majority of our months for the majority of our weeks, the majority of our days is kind of how we spend the majority of our year in the ordinary stuff. Working, sleeping, eating, spending time with your friends and family, sometimes like doing hobby stuff if you have that. And a good year, a well-lived life is spent enjoying the everyday, in my opinion. Last year, it really hit me that I was not only comparing my life to strangers' lives, but that comparison was harmful and that I was not appreciating the everyday stuff, the wonderful stuff that happens in the everyday. So this video is meant to capture some milestones and some everyday stuff. And I hope that you find this video relatable. And if not, if nothing what I said here applies to like any of my good things, that's also okay because we live different lives. And I hope that you can carry this sentiment through to your own life. So what I would love more than anything in this video is for you to look into your own life and find out what some of your good things this year were. Let me know in the comments as well. What are some of your good things that happened in 2024? I also put good things instead of great things or milestones in order to kind of take the pressure off. Okay, all of our boxes are in and we're going to get started. What I've done is the first roughly like 13, 14 of these are in chronological order of when they happened in the year. The other 10 or so things were ongoing in the month, so we are going to add them at the end. All right, so first thing that happened, this happened in, oh, this is too large. Oh, this is awkward. This is how it's going to go today. So in February, my partner and I went to Niagara Falls for a little overnight trip. And we also celebrated 8 years together. And it's kind of crazy that we're going into 9 years in February. Very grateful for that. It was a fun trip. We crossed the border, went to Dunkin'. We had some good pizza first. Went to Dunkin', one of my favorite spots. It was like a really fun time. The next one is that I saw my brother. My brother came to visit in March, and when I was brainstorming for this list, I almost didn't include this because, not that I forgot, but I legitimately thought that that was last year, and I was like, wait a second, that happened this year? It's honestly kind of crazy how different like the first 6 months of the year went, and the later 6 months of the year, it kind of felt like even longer ago. It was so wonderful to see him. Came over, we ate with my partner. Him and I went on a walk together, caught up about life. It was so wonderful. One of the best highlights of the year, which is why it's on here. We are calling the next one self-employment. I was let go of my job in April. And that was not a reflection of me, but just the changing circumstances of the business. And I was freaking out. I was like, what am I going to do? And as I was looking for a new job, I started posting more on YouTube. Things took off from there. So now I get to work for myself, which is incredible. And that, like, I honestly don't think I would have made the impact on YouTube that I made this year without getting let go. I don't know that stuff would have happened. So this was, as they say, a blessing in disguise. So my brother was March, self-employment was April, and then we're calling the next one simply just playoffs. I watched the entire Stanley Cup playoffs this year, And I watched it last year, but I think I watched more overall games this year. I watched a majority, like I was mostly invested in the Eastern Conference. My partner and I watched all the Panthers games together. I think we only missed one total, but we were also watching some of Boston together. I was following personally the Canes, because if the Panthers weren't going to make it, I wanted to be the Canes. And it was like late April to early, maybe mid-June, was such a fun time. With something like this, the playoffs happen every year. And so you could think, oh, it's not special. But we had basically like a daily routine of watching hockey with dinner, and just watching the games and being invested in them was a really, really fun time. Next up, so that we're putting that in May, even though it kind of started in April, but like the bulk of it, the 1 month where there was games like every day, was May. In June, my partner and I, we celebrated 1 year living together. That was another wonderful thing that happened this year. I'm really grateful that we had that opportunity and that we do get to live together, and it's so great. The next one, we're just going to put a big old 30. I turned 30 this year, and I've been freaking out about it for a while. Just, my own hang-ups about like what being 30 should mean, what you should have accomplished by 30, what your life should look like. And I did talk about this around the time, and I've, since kind of chilled out a little bit about turning 30. It is still a wild thing to say, like to say that I am 30, because I don't feel it. But also, how does 30, like, how is that supposed to feel? I don't know. But I am putting this as a good thing, because being alive on this earth is a great thing. And that wasn't always a foregone conclusion. So I'm just going to leave that there, and say that turning 30 is a celebration of life. And not because it's a milestone. Like, I would put that next year. I am alive. I am healthy. I am living life. And that, for me, is a great thing and something worth celebrating. So next up, we're going to put beach trips and sunsets. Because one of my favorite things to do with my partner in the summer is to go to the beach. We'll spend like all day there, like eat lunch at the beach, and watch the sunset at the beach. Like, we'll be there good 6, 7, 8 hours if we can. The sunset, like the photos we take of the sunsets, are some of my favorite photos every year. Going to the beach, floating in a raft with my partner, some of my favorite memories of the year. This happened in the summer, like July and August. So it gets to go here because it's like a couple months specific. And this is kind of another everyday thing that I think is really easy to take for granted, that you live close enough to the beach, that you enjoy going there, that being in the sun or floating in the water or laughing or eating out or watching sunsets, that's an easy thing to take for granted if you do it every year. And I definitely don't want to take that for granted. Some of the best memories. Next up is driving. She also gets just a plain, like a boom. I haven't driven in 3 years, and it was probably over 3 years once I actually got in a car. But I wanted to do ballet, which I guess we'll put that one next. I started doing ballet in 2019, but that year was when COVID happened. So I didn't get to finish the season, and I've always wanted to go back, but I never did because I stopped driving. So I got my license renewed and I started driving again, and I practiced for about a month before I went to ballet in September. So this was August, this was September. And I've really been enjoying ballet and also driving. I was super scared about driving at the beginning because I don't really like it. Even now, I don't love driving, but I find myself enjoying it. And the fact that I enjoyed it all is a testament to kind of how much I've grown in that area. Okay. Also in September, my partner and I, we went to Detroit. We went to Windsor in Detroit. We went for like a one night kind of stay. And honestly, we went there for the food. We've heard a lot about Windsor style pizza, and we actually really like a place in Toronto called Ambassador Pizza. We ate there once and we really liked it. And we've heard since then about Windsor pizza that it's all about the galati cheese and like the crust. And so we wanted to try it. And also Detroit is right there and has a unique style of pizza as well. We tried both. Not a fan of Windsor pizza. Sorry, Windsor friends out there. If you live in Windsor and you're watching this video, I'd like to hear from you. Detroit pizza was I loved it. The next one, we're just going to put a $sign. Let's get 2. We'll put 2. I paid off my student loans in October. I didn't have like a ton. I only took out one for 1 year for my master's. And I finally paid it off. It honestly felt a little anticlimactic, to be honest, but I'm very glad to have that paid off. The next one we are calling Fall Trip. In October, my partner and I took a trip. It was just a day trip. We came home after, and we initially wanted to go to this park for walking. It's like an hour and a half away from us. That didn't pan out, so we realized we had a ton of day left. We don't come to this area often, so we're like, what should we do? We found a small town, and we went there for the rest of the day/evening. Fell in love with this town. Like, literally wanting to move there. It really, like, not only was it beautiful and kind of had a lot of the things that we liked, but it kind of solidified or crystallized maybe. It crystallized how I was feeling about my environment and how much our environment can impact how we feel, but also our relationship to stuff. I don't want to stay too long on that, but that trip was very memorable. It was enjoyable seeing all the fall foliage and watching the sunset, but also having this experience in a small town and making some great realizations. The next one, we are going to put $50K because I hit $50K in November. Another kind of crazy thing to happen that I didn't legitimately ever expect that to happen, let alone this year, blows my mind. Thank you all for subscribing and being here. Next up, I set up my RRSPs, which is the Registered Retirement Savings Plan. I am currently in the process of doing this. I have reached out to my financial advisor. We are getting the paperwork going. So even if it doesn't fully solidify until January, we started this thing this year. End of the year, doesn't matter. We started it. You may think it's kind of boring, and maybe it is kind of boring. Saving for your future is a wonderful thing and something I was not able to do until now. There just wasn't enough money for that. And so I'm really grateful to be in this position. All right. Next up, I am going to we're putting Bestie. Ordinarily, I'd put her name, but we're going to leave it at Bestie for now. She knows who she is. I cherish my best friend. I cherish our relationship. She makes life better. She makes life more fun. And I don't want to take my relationships for granted. And if you're struggling with your year or kind of feeling how I was feeling last year, I think appreciating and loving on the people in your life who are there for you and who support you are wonderful inclusions in a list like this. We are next going to put, I'm just going to say Bujo, because this is the year that I began bullet journaling And this is my, testament to that. Not only did I start bullet journaling, but I fell in love with it, and it just like serves such a purpose in my life and it's such a great thing. So I'm really happy about that. We're gonna do a little drawing here. That looks like a pizza, right? Some of my favorite memories of the year are the pizza nights I have with my partner. We have them about once a month. We change where we get the pizza from. We kind of rotate between main places. And we eat pizza, and it's tasty, usually ice cream after. And we've been doing that for a long time. I would say since 2020, maybe 2019, having kind of regular pizza nights, and it's one of our favorite things and something we do on the regular that is quite, it's something that it's something, again, kind of like the beach trips that I was talking about. When I look back in the year, those are some of my favorite memories. We're also going to draw another picture. That, maybe, okay, it's already done. This is for a joyful reading year. Put just a picture of a book. I was going to put the number of books I've read so far, which I think is 100 and, it's either 100 or 101. And I didn't want to put the number because I don't want the number of books I read to influence what I think about reading. And I also don't want to make it this number school of how many more books can I read this year than last year. I want to focus on the joy of reading. What makes reading so wonderful is not how many books I read, but reading itself and reading about topics that I like. And so this was a very joyful reading year. Last year was also great. I found some new to me books last year, which is wonderful. New to me series. I think I did a little bit better in that respect last year than this year, but I read a lot of interesting books this year and had interesting conversations with friends that I want to encourage myself to continue to read. And reading, as I've kind of mentioned on my channel, is one of those things that makes life more wonderful and is a great part of my year. Next up, and she gets her name in here because she exists publicly online, is Alexa. I met her this year. She's from Conscious Consumerism. We became internet pals this year. We've been talking for a few months now, like probably something like 5 to 7 months. It's been such a wonderful internet friendship that has cultivated this year, and it's great to talk to somebody who is also online, also in the same space. So not only do we feel similarly about a lot of things, but we get to talk about the aspects of our YouTube life that other people in our lives, they could listen to, but they might not otherwise understand as well as somebody else who is also online. The next thing I'm going to include, I'm just going to put evening. I'm going to draw, oh my god. I have a really wonderful evening routine. It's like pre-bed / going to bed time that with my partner that is we've been doing since probably for at least a year. Best moments of this year as well as last year. I love it, and usually if I'm having a bad day or feeling not great, this is when things become awesome. And even if I'm having a bad day, these are the silver linings of the day. Truly, best parts of my day. And they happen just about every day. So I'm so grateful for this. This is not a good thing. This is an excellent thing. A favorite thing. Next up, we are... wrong way. I started back at therapy this year. I've done it before. Recently, most recently a few years ago. And I didn't click with who I was seeing at that time. We just weren't right for each other. And so this time around I did more research, and I actually went through a bit of an agency, I think, where I had an intake and talking about your needs and what you are looking for and like in therapy and what you hope to get out of it. What like identity points would you like to have supported? And they matched me with somebody who is so great. I have made great headway into some of the things that are really important to me. I'm very proud of myself, but I'm so grateful for this. I've been running for a few years now, but this is the year where I feel like I fell in love with running and also really found my stride with it. And this year is the year where I finally feel like, oh yes, this is a bona fide hobby. And even if that doesn't change next year, something doesn't have to be new. Something can be consistent in your life and be a great part of your year. This is it. And I kind of like with reading, one of the reasons why running became so powerful this year is because I focused on the joy of it. And last year, I think I ran something like 175 kilometers. This year, I'm sitting at around 270. Like I've run an additional like 100 kilometers this year because I just focused on the joy of running and just getting out there opposed to hitting milestones or goals or making big strides. And that has made all the difference. And also, by the way, even if I ran less this year, I would still be thrilled with my running life because it is so joyful. Now, the last thing in question, I was debating on including two different things, and I'll tell you both because I get to talk about them, which is fun, but I'll tell you why I'm including the one that I'm including. So, I have this cute little haircut. If you've been on the channel, you've seen it. And a haircut can sometimes be a haircut. But sometimes a haircut is not a haircut, and it's something that gives you confidence, that makes you feel cute, a wonderful thing that makes you feel great about yourself. And that is what my little bob does for me. I feel extra cute. And right now, to be honest with you, the self-confidence is not as high as it normally is. The skin issues on my face have really affected how I feel about myself, and I'm taking care of it, but it just kind of is what it is at the moment, or until or if I can find some improvements. And my little bob helps to, like, I got it while I wasn't feeling great about myself, and it helped kind of give a little bump to the confidence, which I really appreciate a lot. Like, I still would have liked it, and I still think it was cute and would give me confidence even without the skin issues, but it's just hitting a little bit harder. The other thing that I was going to include was the Fourth Wing fandom, because the beginning of this year, like December through to February, I was deep in the fandom. And it was such a fun part of that period because I have never been in a fandom while the book was going, my first time. And it's just fun and leaning into it, which is great. And I feel like that is somewhat captured by the reading, but also because Onyx Storm is going to be releasing in January, I'll have the opportunity to put that on my list for next year. So this is the final spread. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to share a little secret with you. I filmed this once before. Okay, so this is what we did together. This is the original. I didn't get a chance to put in the title. I think this one looks maybe a little bit neater. This one looks a little bit quirkier. First I was not loving it because we have like big ink stains here and another one here, and the stamping is smudging. But it's so quirky. It's cute. You know what? Let's put in a date. Today's the 24th. So I have a little memory in case I forget that I filmed this on YouTube, and I have this memory of this video and this time together. So that's the video. I hope you had fun with me today, and I hope that this inspired you. I would like to hear what some of your good things of this year are. If you want to share 1, 5, 24, let me know. All are welcome. So thank you so much for watching, hang out with me today, and I hope to see you again around here tomorrow for a new day of Fitness. Bye.